talking The Dead Ones. This one is directed by Jeremy Katzen, and this is a kind of dreamlike, nightmarish horror film about school shootings. So what we have these four youths who are on detention over kind of summer, and they are kind of delivered to this school which has had some type of incident, and the school looks a complete mess. It looks like a bomb's gone on. I think it's absolutely chaos everywhere. You know, evidence of, you know, blood, bullet holes, stuff everywhere. And they are there to essentially kind of clean it up. But there seems to be four masked intruders that are dressed up as the apocalypse warriors and all of this, and the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And they seem intent on torturing our four kind of classmates, these detainees. However, there seems to be all sorts of surreal and nightmarish things of a supernatural nature going on in the hospital. What will happen? You'll have to watch the movie to find out. So let's first of all talk about what works with this movie. I think this movie, despite something I'm going to say in a minute, is actually quite original in a lot of ways. It deals with a very poignant and tragic issue that really is an American issue. We don't really kind of get that here in the UK. But obviously we hear about these things happening in the States, and obviously I guess to people from America, this is a hot button topic. So I guess it may be a matter of taste whether you kind of are interested in a horror film that is to do with, you know, school shootings. I wouldn't say it doesn't glamorize it, but obviously nonetheless it certainly is maybe a topic that some people will certainly feel it's off bounds, but nonetheless it is a real phenomenon obviously that happens in this kind of day and age. I gotta say, I think the acting is pretty good from all our kind of like our four kind of our main characters, all of whom have some type of reasons why they are a little bit messed up, shall we say, and that's kind of explored through the film. And I actually think they do reasonable work on characterization here. Some better than others, but for the most part, I think, you know, you're going to get why some of these people are kind of the way they are. The effects themselves are interesting. Some of the effects are done to they look a little fake, is the best way I describe it, a little bit sort of CGI at times, but I feel in a way you can kind of get away with it to a certain degree. But then the film has lots of, as I've said, surreal and very nightmarish imagery within it, and you know, it's certainly a visually at least extremely kind of original looking in many ways. However, therein comes the problem. This film, I feel, wants to try and have this mic drop moment within it. And despite the fact that I feel that the way this story is told is somewhat original, I think it's incredibly obvious about a certain thing within this movie that the film reveals. I'm not going to say it on here, but it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming. So I don't really think it plays its hand deftly enough in some ways. But the other thing is when you first watch this film, you won't know what the hell's going on. And that really is to the detriment of the film, to be honest with you. It's deliberately trying to be this kind of like, what the hell, I don't really understand what is going on. And that goes on for a while. And I actually do think it would benefit if you read the synopsis somewhat before really kind of watching this film. I do think it would help. Is one aspect where so somewhat spoilers will help you understand a little bit about what is going on. Because to be honest with you, the majority of this film really, I said that you don't really, the penny doesn't start to drop until the kind of in the middle of the second act. Really, it's just a little bit convoluted and confusing, deliberately so. But I've got to be honest with you, despite this is the intention of the filmmakers, as a viewer, it just comes across as, what am I watching? I don't really get it. And I feel if your attention levels will drop, or at least some people's attention levels may drop, because it just comes off as a little bit of a jumble, but by design to a point. And even when we are, maybe this kind of like you understand that what's happening to a degree, it still does keep it somewhat vague. So I do think the narrative of this movie is not as strong, and that is partially by the choice of the filmmakers here. So it somewhat becomes a little bit of a taste thing. You know, some people I can see really loving, oh, it's a cerebral kind of horror film to a point. I mean, it's not really, but, you know, I can see why people would say that. But others will just be kind of put off, it's just a bunch of weird images. I don't really get what's kind of going on. It's certainly a bit of a thrill ride in a visual and visceral sense. But, you know, it's one of these films where I feel the narrative could have been tightened up. It could have been done, and it still had the same kind of message, but done somewhat of in a bit more of an engaging way. Because that's the problem. I don't feel this movie is particularly engaging, because it's trying to have this kind of like, oh, surprise! Guess what? It's this. And although I do think the movie kind of gives you that idea of that information eventually, it needed to maybe deliver it in a different way. It's a difficult movie to try and talk about, because I have to be so vague and not to spoil stuff. I try to keep, you know, spoilers out of my reviews. So overall, it becomes a bit of a mixed bag. Some good ideas, but maybe not delivered on it in a particularly, you know, effective way. I'll give it an average score, to be honest. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It was okay, but I just think it got a little bit muddled in its own mythology. 5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think? Leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.